So the topic of today's video is used vehicles, and should they still be considered if you're looking to avoid that initial depreciation. Hi, welcome to Find My Wheels Consulting. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Bill and I'm basically a bloke with a funny accent and lots of car selling experience, and so I decided to create this channel in order to help you with the car buying process. The old rule of losing 20% as depreciation as soon as you drive off the lot, I don't think necessarily is the case anymore. I never want to utter these words again, but COVID changed the dynamics of the used market. Pre-COVID, the difference in price between new and gently used was substantial enough to really consider something that had already had a previous owner. The problem in today's market is that those gently used vehicles are really not that much less than something brand new. They don't have as much warranty, and the used rates are ridiculously high. The services I provide with Find My Wheels Consulting really help break down what that extra cost is with those higher interest rates. I've seen it time and time again that most people just look at that monthly bi-weekly payment and not what they're actually paying in interest. The reason why this strategy is flawed is because if you're paying a high interest rate, you're paying more towards the bank than you are towards the principal itself. And when it comes to trading in that vehicle before the end of the term of that loan, that's when you find you're upside down and it's costing you to get out that deal. Now, it's not to say everything is negative with considering something used, but I'm just trying to highlight that that price for the used vehicle has to be substantially less than what it is new, because otherwise it really doesn't make it worthwhile. For those fortunate enough that can pay cash for a vehicle, depending on what price you're looking at, great. Then you're getting something at a discounted price that's already absorbed that depreciation, and you're not paying the bank those ridiculously high rates. For those of us not so fortunate and we do have to take a loan and paying interest, really look at those rates and see what they are doing to your payment. Maybe consider the option of putting some money down if you can. I always use the golden rule that for every $1,000, you're going to drop your payment by about $20 per month. Something else you really need to take into consideration is the type of loan you'd be taking out on that used vehicle. You're looking for something called an open loan. What is that, you're asking? Well, it doesn't change what payment you make every month, but let's say one year you decide you got a bonus, you've saved a wee bit of money, and you decide to put that down towards your used vehicle. The benefit of that is you would reduce how long you're paying that loan off for, and more importantly, how much interest you're paying towards that used vehicle. I'm a big fan of warranty. I know some people say rubbish, it's just a waste of money, you don't need warranty. Well, those of you especially that are buying something that is on the luxury market, I promise you, you need warranty. So you need to take that into consideration as well. Is the price low enough that it can justify buying that extra warranty that you need? And what type of warranty is it you're getting with the vehicle? Because if it isn't and it turns out to be a lot more expensive than new, which has full warranty, again, the argument is made for itself that you should be buying new. So in conclusion, is buying used the best way to avoid depreciation? Yes and no is the wishy-washy answer, because it depends on the difference between that new and used and that interest rate that you're going to be paying. I promise you, I've seen it too many times. People buy something at a high interest rate, they just look at the monthly payment and then are dumbfounded when they go to trade it in 3 years later and they find that they're 10 grand upside down.